Hi, this is Jack. This is going to be my bar-by-bar review of the S&P 500 futures contract. Well, it's going to be on SPY today. And today is Monday, December 30th, 2024. I have two different daily charts up over here. This is the Globex chart, and this is the day-only chart. They're both doing the same thing, but they're manifesting differently. So I thought it was important for me to look at that this morning. And saw on the big gap down on the day chart, this is a very large gap, and we're very close to support, either the low of this bull bar or the low closest here. So I did think that we would find buyers either here or here. I did think we would probably go lower since the gap down is so large, but we have support. And it makes sense that we have a trading range today, and I expected a trading range because of the gap size. And you can see here, it's quite a large gap. Also, on the Globex chart, by the time the day opened, we were already below yesterday's low. And for that reason, I also suspected a trading range, but I also suspected us to go a little bit lower and test the low close here or here. And it looks like what we ended up doing was letting the trap bears out who sold below this inside bar and held. And that's why we have this tail here. So tomorrow, I expect we may find more buyers down here, and I suspect we'll rally up into the body of this bar. On the day only chart, we may gap down, but I suspect we'll find buyers down here. I'd be surprised if we gap up, but I mean, it wouldn't be that big of a surprise because I think we're going to rally either which way. I think buyers down here, buyers below this bar, and I think we rally, but I'm not sure that we get above, and maybe we might get above yesterday's high because this is disappointing follow through for a bear breakout. But in any case, let's talk about the day chart, 5-minute chart. Let me get it moved up here. So first bar of the day is a big bear bar. We have yesterday's low way up here, and we don't really have any support and resistance nearby on the downside. So we're kind of in no man's land, and all you have to go off of is the price action on the chart. So obviously we need more information to do anything, but judging by bar 1 and the big tail, I suspect that we're going to start to go sideways soon. But because bar 1 is a big strong bear bar in general with a big body, I suspect we're going to go lower. We have an inside bar, but bear bar on bar 2. It could be leg 1, leg 2. I suspect we're going to go below low 2. And I suspect we'll get a second leg down from 1. 3 has a prominent tail. It's a breakout pullback sell. We may pull back a little bit. I suspect us to go a little bit lower. But if we are forming a trading range, I wonder if we are getting low in the range. Bar 4, now we have a 4-bar micro channel. And I suspect we're going to go lower even if we pull back first. So I suspect we're going to go below the low of 4. But we may pull back. I suspect sellers above, probably sellers above this bar, maybe sellers above here. We have the inside bar low to test, and maybe sellers up there. Minor reversal, probably going lower, and then bar 6, bear breakout. We could have some type of wedge here, but it doesn't look like a very good wedge. And for that reason, let me fix one thing here. Actually, I've been... there we go. But it doesn't look like a very good wedge, I think is what I was saying. So therefore, it probably won't function like a very good wedge. But also, too, we have 6 bars in the day. That means that the next bar is going to be a news bar, and I suspect kind of a neurotic bar, a trading range bar, or a very strong directional move. But in any case, better to be flat at this point going into news at 10 o'clock on bar 7. We don't have any open gaps for the bears except for the 6 close and the low of 5, and I suspect that gap will close. The gap that we had from the bar 2 low and the bar 1 low was closed on bar 5 here. So for that reason, probably going lower, but probably not that much lower. News bar, trading range bar, maybe going higher, but probably sellers above. I suspect more down. Inside bar, so we're forming a tight trading range. Could be a final flag for the bears, maybe one more leg down. Outside up on 9, we could have trap bears here. We could have trap bears here. Disappointed. Maybe they got out here. and we'll start to rally. But bar 9 doesn't seem quite big enough for me to buy the close, and the context isn't very good either. It's an outside bar in a tight trading range, and we're still inside of a very strong tight channel. And for that reason, 1 pullback, 2 pullback, I think we need a third leg down to make a wedge. Strong inside bar 10, I suspect we're going to go below the low of 7, and then we did on bar 11, and we closed below, and that's bearish. But now we have a much better looking wedge. If we draw it from here to here, that looks like a decent wedge, but let's see the follow through. 12, okay, good. If you're betting on a wedge bottom for a low of the day, I think that's pretty reasonable, but 12 is not the buy signal bar that you hoped for. But there's something interesting going on with 12, and that is that it's nearly the size of 11. So for that reason, if we start to rally and go above 12, bears may look to cover their shorts and get out because we have 3 legs down. Not a very good buy signal bar, but it is a bull bar, and if we rally above it, that might be 2 legs up in an overall trading range, but I suspect we're going to go higher. Maybe sellers up here around the high close of 9, relieving trapped bulls that are disappointed with this sell-off. Maybe sellers above the strong inside bar on 9. We also have more information here on bar 12, and that is that the breakout gap between the close of 11 and the low of 9, or the close of 10, has been closed. We went above all of those price levels, even the low of 8, the inside bar. We've closed all the gaps. So the bears right now, as strong as this sell-off looks, don't have any open gaps besides body gap here. And you could argue the obvious, gap down. So here, I honestly suspect to go higher, but we may need to go a little bit more down. This is a really tight channel down. It's a wedge, but it may not be a very good wedge. But we're getting good follow through. And look at bar 13. Something interesting happening here as well. There's no tail on the bottom of 13. That means that when bar 12 closed, they bought it, and we went straight up, and we closed above here. So you could look at this and think, okay, leg 1, pullback, leg 2, small pullback here. Maybe we'll find sellers on leg 3, reverse down, or maybe traders will sell the close of 13 and we'll reverse down. And that's reasonable. But let's see the follow through. Follow through, wow. Big, strong outside up bar. I'm sorry, it's not an outside up bar, but big, strong breakout bar, right? Probably always in long and going higher. What happened here? I think bears saw the bad bar on 12, and they got out at the close of the bar, thinking that, okay, we have 3 legs down. This is probably going to be a trading range day. This is a bull bar. After 3 legs down, we have no open gaps. Let's get out. Let's look to sell higher. All right, great. Good follow through, surprisingly good follow through. 11, but it is climactic. The body and the bar. Actually, I don't have the body. It's climactic to me. The body is bigger than the prior body. This bar looks like it's bigger than this bar. Let's just check real quick. What's the high and low? This is like 80 cents ish, you could say, and this is I think that's 60, 70, something close to that. In any case, it's climactic behavior. The body is bigger than the prior body. Now we have 14. Problem with 14 is it's also a climactic bar, and therefore that makes me think we need to pull back before we go higher. I do think that this is a sign of bears giving up, and probably a move to always in long, also as indicated by the moving average that I've programmed. Reasonable to buy the close, stop down here or down here, but if you do that, you want good follow through on the next bar. And 15 isn't really the bar that you hoped for, but maybe this is all the pullback you get. We have a prominent tail on 15, and that makes me think that we may go higher, but we may need to pull back before we actually rally much higher. I think it's clearly always in long. We closed above this swing high. We closed above this strong bear bar, and the low of 15 is 86.05, and the high of this bear bar is 86.03. So there is an open gap between the low of 15 and the high of 10. That means that bears that sold right here and held were not able to get out break even. There's a 2-tick gap. And that's bullish. That means we're probably going to go higher. So reasonable to hold, but we may pull back. And then you get this big surprise bar, bar 16, which is 1050. I don't think there's any news happening on 1050. But a surprisingly big bear bar, probably a second leg down, or trying to get a second leg down from the sell-off from the open of the day. The problem with 16 is it's climactic. Yes, it reversed down from the moving average, and we're flipping the market maybe back into short. But we have this big tail, and this tail is doing something interesting. The low is 85.25, and the high of this buy signal bar is 85.23. There's a 2-tick gap between the high of this bar and the low of this bar. And that's bullish. That's a sign of strength. So for the bears, we have a big climactic bar. We have a really big leg up. And for the bulls that missed this rally, this is an I1R setup. The bulls that bought above 12 got an uninterrupted 1R, 2R, and now we're pulling back and testing that signal bar again. So this is an I1R setup, and it's a decent setup. The only problem is, for the bulls, 16 is really big and strong. Though it has a weak close, we may go lower. We could easily go much lower. We could go below the low of the day, no problem. So we need to see the follow-through. And the follow-through is a bull inside bar. And that tells you that the bears are not as strong as they could be. And the bears probably need one more bar. Maybe traders will sell above this bar or sell the close. Or maybe the bear breakout is going to fail. And that's why we have 18. 18 is closing on its high. This is a buy signal in and of itself. I think the market is clearly always in long and going higher at this point. And I think that the bears that sold below 15 or sold the high of the inside bar are trapped. And whatever pullback we get probably will not get back here. And probably will find buyers in the middle of the gap, I suspect. So 18 probably going higher. Bear inside bar, but buy signal closing above the midpoint. Probably buyers below. Pull back to the midpoint of this rally. If you're a bear, maybe you sell the close of 16. Maybe sell more up here and look to get out around your midpoint. And unfortunately, we didn't quite get there. So the bears are actually trapped here, and that's bullish. Traders bought the close of 19 and we rallied. What pattern is this? How would you describe this pattern from 12 to 20? What is this called? You could say it's a breakout, pullback, and continuation, trend resumption. You could say it's a bull flag here, a breakout, bull flag, another breakout. But in the bigger picture, this is a tight channel. And to trade a tight channel, you take profits at highs and you look to buy pullbacks and buy reversals up. So here we have a strong bar inside of a tight channel up. Probably will find sellers at the close of this bar, and no surprise, 21. 21 is testing the moving average, closing at the high of bar 16. So whatever bears sold here, were able to make money or get out with a smaller loss or break even on their trade. And we have a little gap between 19 and 21. I suspect we're going higher, and I suspect we're now inside of a tight channel. Traders bought the close of 21, or bought above 21, stop below, or stop below here or here. Maybe a measured move down of 21, down here. And now we have a strong bar 22. 22, I suspect we're going higher, clearly always in long. But I suspect sellers at the close of the bar, and no surprise, 23. 23 is testing the bad buy signal bar 21. The bears want this to be 3 legs up inside of a nested 3 legs up. And they want this reversal to get follow through and break out far below the low of 20, 21, 19, test back down to here or back down to here, or even the low of the day and make an overall trading range. We're also testing the high of the day here, and we're getting bad follow through. And that's bearish. That's not good for the bulls. We have a big, strong bear bar, and it's likely that we're going to go a little bit lower. The only problem is we're always in long and we're inside of a tight channel. So whatever reversal we get is likely to be minor. Therefore, we have 24, breaking out below 23 and reversing up. Strong buy signal bar, reasonable stop entry for the bulls. I'd be interested in taking this trade, but you may need to use a wider stop, maybe a measured move of this bar, maybe down here, because it's likely that 23 could get a second leg down. But it looks like the bulls were overpowering the bears. Looks like this bar is profit taking, as was 21 and 19. 24, 25, good enough for a second leg up. Probably reasonable to buy the close, stop down here, and be quick to get out. Or maybe a stop down here, a measure move of this signal bar down. We could still get a delayed second leg of 23. We're in an overall tight trading range at this point with these 4 bars. But in the bigger picture, we have a wedge bottom and a tight channel up. New high of the day above the open of the day. I suspect we're going to go higher. And remember what I was talking about earlier, I think that we're going to have a trading range day. So if this is a trading range day, we have the open here. Go ahead and mark it. We have the open here. Let me adjust one thing. We have the open here. We went below it. We're breaking above it. I suspect we're going to go above it and then get back to the open, because that's what trading range days do. We're going to form probably some form of a doji, maybe like bar 5, 7, or 8, any bar like that on the daily chart. And earlier, that's what I was talking about and why I wanted to look at these bars. Because we had such an extended move down, it's likely that we would find buyers down here and reverse back up. So maybe we don't have a doji bar on the Globex chart, but surely we'll have some form of a doji, either a bear doji or a bull doji, on the day only chart, the day session chart. So 24, 25 probably going higher. 3 bars up, probably needs to pull back. Outside up 27, climactic bar. We may find profit taking up here. I'm not sure that this is buy the close bar, but we are in a tight channel. It's consecutive legs up. We have 1, 2, 3, now 4 legs up. We may find profit taking at the close or above that bar, which is why we have 28. 28's a big bar, probably going a little bit lower. We've closed the gaps. We don't really have many open gaps for the bulls, but we do here. Go ahead and mark them out. We have a tiny gap here. We have this measuring gap, this body gap here. All of these gaps are going to be targets. No gap there. We have a small gap here. So whenever we start to reverse, all these gaps are going to be targets. But because we're in a tight channel, I suspect whatever reversal we get will still be minor. So I think buyers somewhere down here. Instead, buyers at the close. Strong bull inside bar, probably going higher, but may need a second leg down from 28. Instead, good follow through for the bulls, 30. Testing the high close, selling off a little bit into the bar, we may need to pull back before we go higher. Instead, traders bought the close of 30, but climactic bar, 1, 2, 3, could be a parabolic wedge on a smaller time frame. Also, a really strong micro channel late in this trend, we probably need to pull back. But buyers below, tight channel. Reasonable to hold long above this bar. But then you get 33, and this is a signal that we're probably going to start going sideways and form a trading range. Bull reversal bar, buyers below 33, but I suspect sellers not far above. Good follow through for the bulls, probably going higher. Looks like we're aiming for an obvious magnet, yesterday's low, and I suspect we're going to get there. Days like today where you have an obvious magnet that is within range, even here, you think that we get this big bar, the bears are trapped, selling these bars, selling below 23, we're probably going higher. Selling below 26, we're probably going higher. We have this obvious magnet. It's likely that we're going to get there and test it. Okay, but maybe not. We have 28, big bear bar, but bad follow through. Good entry bar for the bulls, probably going higher. Climactic, we may need to pull back. Here's the pullback and a rally, but the rally's weak. Maybe buyers below, maybe sellers below. Instead, bears are trapped. Bears probably got to get out above that bar, which is why we have 35. 35 is so damn close. We're definitely going to get there. Probably the next bar. Okay, probably the next bar. Okay, probably the next bar. Almost there. Looks like we barely wicked it. We're probably going to touch it. Finally, we get bar 40. I think bears are trapped, so trapped in here. This is so climactic. It's so tight. Yes, it's a breakout on a higher time frame. But what's going to happen today? Is it likely that this is going to be a bull trend that lasts all day? You know, do you look at this and are you confused? Is this confusing here? Because it's a little bit to me, honestly. You know, it's consecutive buy climaxes, extremely tight channel, small pullback trend, no doubt, on a 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute chart. On this chart, it's a tight channel. we're getting a climactic bar at new high of the day at an obvious magnet, obvious resistance. So I suspect profit taking at the close of this bar and probably above the bar, which is why we have 41. 41, reasonable bar to look for a pullback to sell. I'm not sure that I would sell the close yet. I think bulls probably need a test of this high close before we go lower. Traders did sell below this bar, and they were not able to make 1 times their risk, and that's disappointing. But if you're a smart bear, if you're a strong bear, you probably scalped if you did go below, if you did short below 41. Bit of an expanding triangle here. And for that reason, I suspect a reversal is near. Inside bar 43, I suspect sellers above, maybe buyers below. 42, lots of buying pressure, but late in this rally in an overall trading range that's now channeling lower, I suspect more disappointment. Here's disappointment for the bears. I suspect disappointment above. Maybe we'll test the high close, but I suspect profit taking up there. 45, new high of the day, but failing to close above, and then outside down, weak close on 46. Now we have a double top. Reasonable to sell this bar, sell below it, sell this bar, stop up here for a swing down. Problem is, still always in long, still above the moving average, at an obvious magnet where we have a lot of activity, a lot of trading range behavior. So if you are short, probably wise to get out of shorts below this low. And that's what happened on 48. Reasonable reversal for a test up, but trading range, I expect disappointment. We have a tick gap down, and then a rally, I suspect sellers above. So we have 50, weak close, probably going a little bit higher. 51, probably sellers up here, but maybe higher. Gravestone doji, probably buyers below, which is why we have 53. Maybe higher, but sellers above. 54, probably going lower. Again, probably going lower. Now we have 1, 2, 3, maybe a failed 4th leg up here. So overall tight trading range, overall triangle. We have a strong bull trend, trend line break, sideways, test of the highs. Reasonable to expect a test of 42, 48 lows. Breakout pullback sell, I suspect still going lower, maybe sellers above. Instead, sellers at the close, but not closing down here. So not all that convincing on the part of the bears, but getting late in the day. This is around 2 p.m., 2:30. So maybe the bulls are going to try to get one more rally in, but I suspect we're going to go a little bit lower. Inside bar, triangle, maybe a final flag for the bears in this leg. Another leg down, 59. Weak close above 57, above 42, below 48, but I suspect we're going to go higher. So 60. Stop entry for the bulls, good bar. But testing the moving average, prominent tail, that tells you that we may go higher, but I suspect sellers above. So we have 61, and then buyers below for a second leg up. But then bad entry bar, micro double top at resistance, probably going lower. Another push up, 64. Maybe we'll channel a little bit higher, but sellers up here. Losing momentum. We're forming a tight channel up, but a lot of tails on the bars, a lot of doji bars. We're just forming kind of an endless pullback in this bull trend. So we have a trading range. We have a leg down, up, down, up, down, up. That's at least 5 legs, and for that reason, we're in breakout mode. So now we have a big breakout outside down 67. I think that this is a statement by the bears that, hey bulls, I'm tired of your bull, and I'm going to give you some bear. So here's some bear. I think we're starting a bear swing here, but we may need to pull back. So we have 68, but I think sellers at the close and above. 69, 70, going higher. Maybe a failed attempt at a bear trend here, or 1, 2, maybe 3 legs up. Might not get there. Maybe one more push instead of give up bar, 72. 72 is kind of the cutoff for me, a little late in the day to do anything. 15:30, that means it's 3:30, only 30 minutes left in the day. Low probability stuff happens at 3:30 in the afternoon. But 72, I suspect sell to close and probably going lower. Follow through, sellers above. channeling lower, disappointing, 75, going higher, leg 1, pullback, leg 2, pullback, maybe leg 3, or maybe sellers at the close or below. Leg 3, finding sellers above 76, trying to get to the stop entry sell signal, but we didn't get there. It's a breakout test of the 68 low, the 67 close, and selling off. Maybe we need a second leg up, but I suspect sellers below this bar, so we have 78. And that is the close of the day on SPY, baby. But let's look at the close on .D. .D got 78, and then we got follow through with a close below, follow through but failing to close below, and then a small bull inside bar. So really fun day. Wow, look at this day overall. This is just looks like a fun, it looks so easy to trade after the fact, of course, but certainly not that easy to trade down here or up here. And even through here, I mean, it looks climactic, looks climactic and overdone all throughout this rally. So if you're long, you really want to be long after you see 28. I mean, dang, kind of tough to be long, but then bad follow through and good bull bar, probably going higher. Look at these closes. All of these closes, so strong. All right, what's stronger? This 4-bar bull micro channel with all of the bars closing on their highs above the prior bars, or this one bear bar? How about now? Okay. This is a little bit weaker, so yeah, maybe we need to pull back, but look at the pullback. 1 bar, barely went below, and now we're going back up. Okay, bad bar here. Maybe wait for a second entry buy. So 1 more low. Okay, you don't get it, but you got to pause. This is a pullback. Buy above that bar. Boom. Anyway, it's not as easy as it looks is the point. And anybody that says it's easy hasn't been trading that long. So anyway, that's my review. That's the day. Where do we go from here? I think we gap up. Looks like we gap down on Globex. I think we sell off a little bit. Probably find buyers somewhere in this tail or maybe below it. And then I think we rally. Also, tomorrow is a holiday. Look at this. It's New Year's Eve tomorrow. So today is New Year's Eve. So for that reason, let's just do a little review of life. Let's look at the daily chart. All right, we saw it earlier. Here's the daily chart with last month's low and last month's high. So we're going to close out 2024 in a tight trading range on the daily chart. And it looks like the bears are trying their damnedest to get 2024 to have some bear selling pressure. But we have a micro double bottom, and I suspect we're going to rally. Weekly chart, the bears are trying hard to get a close below this bear bar, but I don't know that they're going to get it. That's this low is 898. This low is they could do it. Well, the close of this bar so far. Yeah, it's only like, 60, 70 points. This is reasonable. We could do it. Really, I want to look at the monthly chart. Let's look at the monthly. And this is something I like to do. Let's go to semi-log, because I want to look at proportional bars on the higher time frames. I'm going to raise my desk up. Sorry if you hear the noise. All right. So monthly chart. Monthly chart, the bears are going to want a strong bear close. All right. And for them to do that, we need to go, like 60 points lower. And that's pretty reasonable. We might do it, but we need to close 60 points lower. Now, if you look at the daily chart, you think we're going to close down here? We might. I mean, this is a strong bear breakout, even though it looks like crap on this chart. You know what? I don't have a... go ahead and make a button for the Globex here. If you don't know how to make a macro, that's how you do it on TradeStation. And then if you want to put it on your toolbar and you don't know how to do that, this is how you do it on TradeStation. You can make the button something fun. Go ahead and make it that. I'll put it right there. You know what? I don't have a button for SPY either. I like to have a button for everything. So let's go to Globex. So yeah, you know what? This is pretty strong. 1 pullback, 2 pullback of this tail. 3, we could get a big climactic bear bar, second leg down from this bar, and that would be pretty reasonable on the daily chart. And that would put the weekly closing down here. And if the weekly closes down here, I think that in and of itself is a statement by the bears that, hey, we're not screwing around. Okay, it's 2025. You guys, the bulls had 2024, but we're not going to be screwing around 2025. All right, we're going to be prominent. But in any case, I think that, yeah, I think we are due for a pullback. If you just look at the monthly chart, I think it's a little overdone. We have a pretty climactic rally happening here. Let me make the bars maybe a little bit more reasonable. Oh, geez. Oh, gosh. Let me get out of that. Okay. Jeez. Okay. So, a lot of trading range price action happening late in this rally. This is really strong. 5 consecutive bars up, pullback, rally. And now, look at this. What do you call this pattern? All right, this is a tight channel. How do you trade a tight channel? You buy below bars. You buy reversals up. You take profits at highs. You look to buy a pullback. We're getting a pullback here. This is a buying opportunity. I think also, too, I don't know for sure, but I think, so this is January, February, March. We kind of went sideways. We pulled back a little bit. This became the low of the year. I don't have yearly lows on this chart, but let's just look at that real quick. Here's 22. It started at the high, so we have a yearly high up here, yearly low. And then the low became much lower. Obviously, we saw that. The end of the bull market transitioned to a bear market, at least for a little while. Okay, and then 21. What happened 21? January, pullback. All right, how about 20? We started a big correction, pullback. 19, we had 2 legs down, pullback from the 2 legs down, and then we rallied. 18, strong climax, pullback. 17, little bar, not much of a pullback, we just went. All right, how about 16? All right, we're sideways, deep pullback. You could say bear breakout, but weak close, 2 legs down at the moving average, maybe always in short, but bad follow through, ultimately became a sideways pullback in a bull trend. Apologize for the scaling, kind of all screwy here. Let's do some more. 14, January, pullback. 13, no pullback. Small bar, pullback here. And then we went. 12, January, February, March. Then we started to pull back. 11, 1, 2, then a pullback. 10, pullback. Anyway, what am I trying to say? I think the whole point of me saying any of this is that we're starting to get a pullback, and I think we need maybe a deeper correction in January. But I think there's buyers down here. This is a tight channel. We don't really have a trend line break. Even if we went down here, we have the moving average as support. Look at this. Every time we get near the moving average, we buy. You know, we went a little bit below it here, a little bit below it there, all the way back here, went below it here. You know, 2008, big crisis, a little bit different story. We went a lot below it here. And then, obviously, you can see what happened in the dot-com bust. You know what? Let me fix this real quick, too. I like my higher time frames to have a lot of years on the chart. Okay. I guess that's my limit. And you know what? I'm on ES, so let's, screw it. Anywho, that's my review. I'm kind of dicking around now, and hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. See you.